welcome back to my channel. My name is Pam and today's video is going to be how I annotate / tabs my books. So yeah, I started to tab my books last year, so in 2019. One of my goals for 2019 was to reread some of my favorite books, and I thought, why not tabbing some of my favorite books while I'm rereading it. So I thought it would be a great idea. So yeah, I come up with a little simple system for myself. I got inspired by a lot of people like Kaz from A Little Book Owl, Chloe from Books with Chloe. They have videos about their annotated and tabbing system, and they do write in their books. I do not. I don't feel comfortable doing it, but that's me. They do feel comfortable to write in their books, but I don't feel comfortable doing that in mine. So I don't. But yeah, I'm sorry for the lighting. I'm always filming with natural light, and it's really gloomy outside. So yeah, that is what it is. But yeah, so I come up with a really simple system, and the tabs that I do buy are Post-its tabs, those ones. So I'm gonna take a full pack. So I have all of these colors, so I'm gonna tell you what color is for. So the pink one is everything that I love. So either a quote, a moment, a character, a love moment that I just absolutely love, something that I think is cute. So yeah, so that's pink. For purple is everything that is shocking, so like a plot twist reveal, a shocking like revelation, and it's also action. So everything that goes with like something that is really stressful and that is full of action. So yeah, that's purple. So for blue is sad moments. So everything that is just heartbreaking, so sad, I want to cry, that's blue. Green is for interesting facts, interesting information that I think is gonna be like revealed later on why this was so interesting. So it's anything like really interesting or world building, world that goes, yeah, basically like explaining something about the world. Yeah. Orange is for funny moments. So anything that is funny that I think, yeah, it's funny, basically. So those are the main colors. I do use two other colors that are specific to Rick Riordan's book. I'm a big fan of Rick Riordan, and I wanted a color that would help me like distinguish the different mythologies. So I decided to go with yellow is for Greek mythology. So basically the main mythology that Rick Riordan is writing in the Percy Jackson series and the Heroes of Olympus series. So I'm using the yellow tab if it's anything Greek mythology related. For any other mythology, so for example in the King Chronicles series, there's Egyptian mythology, I'm gonna use the red tab. Or for example the Magnus J series, Norse mythology, I'm also using the red tab. The same goes for Roman mythology. So yellow is only strictly Greek mythology. Red is any other mythology, basically. So yeah, I'm gonna give you some example. I have 5 books with me that I can give you example of each tabs. And yeah. So, for example, for the Greek mythology, we have Percy Jackson and the Olympians, the Lightning Thief, the first one. As you can tell, I tabbed it a lot, and as you can tell, there's a lot of yellow. So, for example, if I go to a yellow tab, okay, so let's see here. It says, naturally, we would. Hermes, our patron, is the god of travelers. So there's information about Hermes, which is the god of travelers. If we go to, so that's an example for like the yellow tabs. There's other ones also. Yeah, I could go with this one. You're Clarice's dad, Ares, a god of war. So we have information about Ares, which is the god of war. So yeah, basically there's a lot of yellow in Percy Jackson, obviously. A good example of like funny moments. There's some funny moments in Percy Jackson. In Rick Riordan's book, there's always like funny comedic moments. But one of the books that I think when I think of funny books is The Martian by Andy Weir. This book I've first read like in 2016, 17, I want to say, and I've reread it last year. And as you can tell, I tabbed it also. There's a lot of tabs that are in fact orange because I thought they were funny. So this book is really funny to me. Mark Watney, actually, the main character, is really funny. So, for example, if I go here, I summon up the courage to return to the hub. Once I got there, I felt a little more confident. Everything was how I left it. Just to give you a context, he's left on Mars all alone. So, and then then he says, "What did I expect? Martians looting my stuff?" Yeah. Anyway, I think it's funny. So, it's some example of like, yeah, it's just an example of funny moments that could appear into, for example, The Martian over here. A good example of like sad moments is with one of my favorite books, which is Monster Calls by Patrick Ness. I've read that book three times already. Two physically, the first time in one sitting, cried my eyeballs out. Second one on audiobook. The narrator of this audiobook is Jason Isaacs, which is he's playing Lucius Malfoy in the Harry Potter series. So, really good narrator. And I've reread it too, tabbed it physically. So, as you can tell, there's a lot of sad moments. They're like practically all blue because this book is sad. So, for example, she stopped, but she still smiled back at him. She hadn't tied her scarf around her head yet this morning, and her bare scalp looked too soft, too fragile in the morning light, like a baby's. It made Connor's stomach hurt to see it. So sad. Yeah. So this book is really sad. So that's why there's a lot of blue tabs that I've used for this one. A good example of pink tabs is The Cruel Prince by Ollie Black. I love this book so much. And yeah, the first time I've read it, it was when it came out in 2018. I've reread it last year in January for in preparation for the release of The Wicked King, the second book. And yeah, I decided to tab it. So, yeah, as you can tell, there's a lot of pink. There's a lot of green too. So there's a lot of like world building. I could tell you some information about the world with my green tabs, for example. So for example, not that I'd be the first to green gown her. Fairies can't lie. A interesting fact about the world. A peak moment, so a moment that I love. Oh, that's a quote that I really love. So that's an example of a great quote. I know what it is to say the clever thing because you don't want anyone to know how scared you are. It doesn't make me like him any better, but for the first time, it seems real. Not good, but real. Now, a beautiful, loving moment. The sexual tension between two characters. You really hate me, don't you? He asks, his smile growing. Almost as much as you hate me, I say, thinking of the page with my name scratched on it. Sexual tension. Yeah. So those are moments like I love. There can be quotes, like I said, of moments that I really, really enjoyed. Now an example of my red tabs with my yellow tabs. So in The Lost Hero by Rick Riordan, the first book in the Rules of Olympus, we do have explanation of like Greek mythology, but also Roman mythology. So for example, we are told that kind of blade is called a perazonium. It was mostly ceremonial, carried by high-ranking officers in the Greek armies. It showed you where a person of power and wealth, but in fight, it could protect you just fine. So, an interesting fact about a knife in the Greek mythology. Let's go with, for example, a Roman mythology fact. So it says, Jupiter, Jason said, I mean Zeus, Lord of the Sky. So in Roman mythology, Zeus is called Jupiter. So that's an interesting fact. So in this book, especially in this series, I think there's a lot of intertwine between Greek and Roman mythology. And this is a good example also of a book that I've haven't read before, and I tabbed it the first time that I've read it. So this is not a reread. All the other ones were reread that I tabbed. So I already know what was coming, but this one I didn't. This one is on my first read. I decided to tab it. I did that to also The King Chronicles by Rick Riordan. I did that to The Wicked King and The Queen of Nothing, the second and the third book of the Hair of the Folk series, the Folk of the Hair series. I can't remember the name of that series, but anyway, the follow-up of The Cruel Prince. There were books that I've read the first time and that I decided that I wanted to tab. Yeah. So mostly it's like with Rick Riordan's book. Or like I said, I knew I loved The Cruel Prince. I already tabbed The Cruel Prince. So I thought, why not? And tab the second and the third one while I'm reading it for the first time also. So this is it. This is my tabbing method. This is my tabbing method and how I tab my books. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want to take my tabbing method. Anyway, if you want to try it, go ahead. It's really fun, and I like going back into my books and just go to some tabs and be like, oh yeah, I remember why I tabbed that book, why I tabbed that part. Sorry. It's really interesting. And if you have a tabbing a way of tabbing your books and you want to talk about it, just let me know in the comments. I will read it. Maybe you can give me some advice and some clues about how I can improve my way of doing it. And like I said, I'm not ready to write into my books. Maybe one day, but for now I'm not. So yeah, so on this, I'll see you in the next video. Bye!